I walked out of Thunderbolts saying, oh man, the power of friendship, right? Am I right? The power of friendship is the most powerful thing in the world. If you're an anime fan, you know what I'm talking about. But Thunderbolts is different. It's definitely not the run-of-the-mill Marvel movie. Introduce bad guy. Bad guy has this big plot to take over the world. Random hero shows up, stops him. Origin story of a hero, none of that. It was pretty much, if you know, you know. You're gonna have to do some homework before you go into this one. I've already had to see Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and just pretty much just had kept up with all the other titles that Marvel came out, because there's a lot of Easter eggs dropped in this one, and you might be a little lost if you took a hiatus and was like, you know what, this is the Marvel movie that I want to come back into. Like, nah, you're gonna be confused. They don't introduce anybody except for Bob. That is the person's introduction. Everybody else you should already know, already be familiar with, and it's just gonna keep on going, and they're gonna reference a lot of things that happen throughout the universe, which a good cinematic universe film should do. Like, it should feel like it's a world outside of this story, and I think it did a great job with that. I also enjoyed the action that was in it, because this is not an action-packed movie. There is action in it, but this one is more on the lines of a setup to another action-packed movie. Like, this one sets the Thunderbolts in their place to be a part of something bigger than what's to come. As far as this story, I dug it. It's like I said, it didn't seem like it was too crazy. There's some crazy moments in it. No. Like, it's kind of hard to really explain it without trying to make it seem like it's lame, because it feels like it's setting up a bigger movie, but at the same time, this movie was pretty good. Especially if you like these characters. If you like Yelena, if you like the Red Guardian, if you like Bucky, if you like, I don't know who like Walker, who likes the discount Captain America, but if you're one of those people that do, he has some redemption in this, and he has some shine in this. If you like Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, if you liked her as a villain, I don't think that many people did. Good news about Taskmaster. I mean, kind of bad and good. I'm gonna say that for spoiler talk. How you look at it is some good news for Taskmaster. Valentino, she's the evil version of Fury, of Nick Fury. That's pretty much, that's the best version I can get, because how she think of things on the fly and how she wants to protect the earth in her own right. In her way, and how she pretty much just plays dirty politics, scandals, all that good stuff, setting people up. It was cool. That was cool. I just like the chemistry between these characters. They were fun to watch. That what made this movie for me. Elena, Red Guardian, the whole cast. I didn't like Walker going into this. I was like, oh, discount Captain America, Captain Redneck, because it just seems like he represents an entire side of America that people like to ignore. Like the "don't tread on me" guys, they won't replace us. Anybody that yells out DEI, he just represents that, and he just rubs me the wrong way. In a way, he doesn't know that. He thinks he's a good person. He thinks he's doing the right thing for America. He thinks that his way is the best way most of the time. That's the representation of those type of people. They think they're in the right. They think their way is the perfect way. I'm not saying my way is the perfect way, but my way is more inclusive versus somebody who's just trying to shut everybody out and just trying to keep things, as they like to say, pure and innocent and non-thuggish, and don't come around my city with that. That's what he represents. For them to turn him into somebody that's still the same person, but you can tolerate them because you know who they are now, but you see that they are starting to understand their faults and try to make themselves a better person, or just try to make themselves more inclusive into group. That's some good character development in my book. Red Guardian, hilarious the entire movie. He was funny to me. He might annoy some people, but I thought he was hilarious. Tell you right now, I'm not 100%, I'm not even 10% up on the comic books when it comes to the Thunderbolts or these characters, especially Sentry. He is brand new to me. I looked him up a couple times before I went to see the movie, so I understand his powers. I know it's like a yin yang type of situation where you can't have one without the other, but I gotta say, it's one scene with him as Sentry that was just crazy. It was just crazy. I was like, damn, that motherfucker's strong. But I mean, they say he's stronger than 100 burning suns, and I'm like, ain't that what they say about the Man of Steel? So, because I already know they always say like Marvel Blue versus Superman, so I never really heard Sentry versus Superman. So that's my I'm questioning that. That's all I'm doing. Elena is just, she plays by one of my favorite actors, Florence Pugh. She's amazing. She's good. I thought she was tough in this one. She seemed like she bulked up a little bit for this role. Nice. I liked her in Hawkeye. I liked her in Black Widow. She's cool as hell. And I like that she's getting more shine in the Marvel Universe. And she's essentially the head of this team. So that's cool. Ghost. Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. I liked her one-liners. I liked how she mows in with the group. They quickly found a way to sit her ass down though. Like like it was, like she has a weakness that's just like, ah damn. Like, oh man, like that's messed up. The rest of this video is gonna be spoilers, so you can skip this timestamp right here for my rating. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, it has 2 post-credit scenes, so boom. First spoiler, but skip this timestamp right here. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. All right, the story itself, man, was how can I really explain it? They start off with Yelena. Is how she yearning for something more. She thought she was feeling bad because her sister not Scarlett, which Jesus Christ. Oh my God, what was Scarlett Johansson's name in this goddamn movie? In MCU. Johansson. Please, Black Widow. Was it just Black Widow? That was her name? It's not her name. It was something else. Assassin Milena Voskina. Yeah, it was just Black Widow. Didn't know it was just the name. Her name. Just, okay. Anyway. That's stupid. Her sister, Black Widow's played by Scarlett Johansson, was killed in Endgame, but you know they had her own movie and shit. She was killed in Endgame. She thought it was that, but it wasn't that. So she started throwing herself more and more work, but she needed something more fulfilling. And she went on this mission to destroy the Sentry Project for Valentina. And the reason she's destroying that evidence is because Valentina is being impeached by Congress. And the reason she destroyed the evidence because Valentina is being impeached by Congress because she's doing illegal experiments trying to create her own super soldiers. And so Valentina is trying to clean house. She's trying to get rid of every type of evidence that will get her impeached, or even better yet, get her impeached, or even worse, thrown in federal prison. So her assistant is telling her, is pretty much making all this happen. And what they do is they send Captain Redneck. What they do is they send Captain Redneck after Yelena after Ghost, Taskmaster after Captain Redneck, and in this underground vault where they can just either kill each other off, or she can just go ahead and just kill them all together, kill them all right then and there by incinerating them with all the evidence. Just so happened Bob was in one of the cartridges, but he was supposed to be a dead body. He was supposed to not have survived the experiments of becoming a super surgeon, but he did. So when they went down there, Taskmaster is the only one that is shot and killed by Ghost. Like, she's gone. So what I meant by saying that this could have been some good news for Taskmaster fans is they can now reintroduce a new type of Taskmaster and start over, because a lot of people didn't like, me included, that they made her mute, and they made Taskmaster mute, and I didn't really care about the gender swap, but you know how people do. They don't care. They don't like gender swaps, whatever. But they could actually introduce somebody that's actually like that now, and they actually, you know, they might not be the same person. I mean, it's definitely not gonna be the same person because she's dead, obviously, but they can introduce a person that's actually more in line with the comic books. So that's why that's good news. But a lot of people might say that's just even more disrespect to Taskmaster as a character, because they was taken out after it was built up that they were gonna be on the team. Oh man, that's just the first 30 minutes. Of course, they figure out that they were set up, except for Captain Redneck. It takes him a little longer because he's so cocky and he's so full of himself, such a narcissist, that he think that Valentina was never get rid of him because he's a valuable asset. He looks down on them for actually being criminals, while he is actually a war hero, even though he executed somebody in broad daylight in front of civilians. So it's like, dude, what the fuck? Anyway, they get out of the vault, escape that, but then that's revealed that Bob actually is, that's when it's revealed that Bob is actually a superhero. He has superpowers and everything. Valentina then scratched all the what's the words I'm looking for? She then scrapped all the ideas of trying to save herself from impeachment to using him as the piece to say, hey, I might have did some crazy shit, but it worked. We have our own superhero now, and he's stronger than any of the Avengers. And she says this verbatim, that he is stronger than any of the original Avengers put together, because you got to think, and the reason she's doing this is because the Avengers aren't there. If you've been keeping up with the everything that's been going on with them, Thor is in galaxies away. Iron Man, Tony Stark, has passed away. Spider-Man is doing his thing with school, and well, he's out of school now, but doing his thing with trying to survive as an adult now. Ant-Man is somewhere. I don't really know the timeline where Ant-Man is, but he's somewhere. Sam is probably recovering from, fighting a Hulk. Sam is probably recovering from fighting a Hulk. Bucky's there, of course, but then you have the things going on with who's Hawkeye. What happened to Hawkeye? Damn, I forgot. Hawkeye, but what Hawkeye was gonna do anyway. But like far as all the super villains, superheroes and everything, where's Hulk? Hulk is somewhere. He was helping his cousin, but I don't really remember where Hulk is, like, so why he couldn't help. More disrespect to the Hulk. That's the only thing I can think about. But the Avengers aren't there. So they're saying, so Sentry is now that guy, and he showed up, and she used his vulnerability because Bob is a sweet guy. He's like a loner. He has mental issues. He was an addict. He was on meth. He was having all kinds of problems. He got into this treatment thinking that he was sold on this experiment of making human beings better. And I think in his mind, he was thinking like a better person. Like this drug was supposed to help him fight his addictions and make him a better person, so he can go back into the world and be like, hey, I'm Bob, I'm a better person. I'm getting a job. I'm doing this, that. I don't think he actually knew it was like a superhero experiment, because that's just how they portray him. That's how naive he was. That's how naive. Well, that's how they portray him. Is that how they portray him as a naive person? Like, he just takes everything from a grain of salt and he just roll with the flow. He's like a chill dude, man. He's relaxed. He's laid back. He's cool. He's chilling. But that all comes ahead when Bucky, and we all know, if you've seen in Brave New World, he's a congressman now. He's a representative of Brooklyn. He is trying to take Valentino down. So he goes and grabs the Thunderbolts. He goes and grabs the Thunderbolts and was going to use them as witnesses to take Valentino down. They even called an emergency Congress meeting, an impeachment meeting. They even called it an emergency impeachment meeting to get the votes so they can go ahead and impeach her and lock her up after Bucky caught them. But Bucky is contacted by Valentina's assistant, who start to realize that she going off a little deep into here. She got this unstable person in Bob with an incredible amount of power, and she just say, oh, I can just use him. So she's like, so she calls Bucky, because Bucky got in contact with her to try to flip her. So she calls Bucky, let him know. So he was like, all right, we have to go now because I can't get nobody else to go stop him. They go to the penthouse, which, they go to where Valentina and Bob is, which is the old Avengers Tower. She bought the Avengers Tower and was renovating for her space. Like I said, she's an evil Nick Fury. That's the way I can think about it. Like, why would you want this there? And she even, like, why would you want this? Why would you want Tony Stark's old place? Like, it gotta be more than just it looks cool. But they don't really get into it. She just hints at the fact that there were so many historic battles there. And it was. You had the Loki getting slammed by Hulk. You had the Avengers. You had Ultron showing up. You had the stuff that was on What If you want to count that. It's a very iconic building, for sure. 100%. But they get there, and Bob comes out with his suit on, his new look and everything. She bleached his hair. She got him looking like the comic book accurate Sentry. And they start the fight, and he's like, I don't want to fight y'all, but she want me to, knock y'all out, because she got like a nurturing side to him, and he just straight mops the floor with them. They couldn't do anything with him. Bucky landed maybe a couple hits, and it was just like, okay. And that was insane. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, this motherfucker OP as hell. Like, how are they gonna beat him? They don't. He has a kill switch. Oh, Lord. No, he mops the floor with them. They go downstairs, and he starts to to smell what he's cooking. He starts to really feel himself. He starts to, I'm a god. You said it yourself. I'm stronger than every Avengers rolled up, and they have a god on their team. So that makes me stronger than a god. And why should I have to listen to you? And so she was like, oh my God. And she was about to hit the kill switch, but he grabs her. Luckily, the assistant was there. Well, not really luckily, because he took Valentino out that kind of solved a couple problems. Not luckily, because if he would have took Valentino out, that could have saved him some problems in the future, but that's neither here or there. The assistant shows up, hit the kill switch, and it like explodes his brain from the inside. That's the best way I can temper it, because his eyes turn bloodshot red and he falls over. Okay, that's a way to do it. That's like, in my mind, that's the way a lot of people wanted Ant-Man to take out Thanos, you know, go up the butt, expand and just blow him up from the inside. If he has tough exterior, he got to have a soft if he has a tough exterior, he has to have a if he has a tough interior, if he has a tough exterior, he got to have a soft interior, right? Like, that's the mindset. So I guess they had a bomb inside of him, blew his head, or it was some type of kill switch with the serum. Because that's how she explained it. Like, didn't we make a kill switch, but they had to destroy it, but they had to make another one. So I doubt they put another bomb inside him. Like, I think it was already there. But anyway, he's down for the count, seemingly. This is when Void shows up, the dual side of Sentry. He is nothingness. He's all black. And I thought the graphics on him was pretty cool. The only thing you can see was the gold of his eyes and like a silhouette of his body. Everything else seemed like it was just an empty space. I thought that was pretty cool. And he just started making people into shadows. The best way I could, like, just doom, doom. And the sound effect that it was using every time somebody got, it's not a blip like the snap, but it was like a smudge on the ground. Like if you take some charcoal and just smudge it on the ground, that seemed like he just did that to them, like with like a tap of his finger. And you see it in the trailers how it happened, but you don't hear the sound effect of it happening. It sounds so final. It sounds so like they just became nothing. And you think that he's killing them, but he's not. What he's actually doing is sending them into the void, where they experience the most traumatic parts of their lives. For Yelena, it was her most traumatic part of his life. So the Guardian, now the Thunderbolts, after they got their behind whoop, they broke up, they separated, because they were like, yo, we can't do this. We're not the real heroes. We're just people who want to have a better lives for the most part. We wanted to do good, but we're not it. So they run off, and Yelena and Red Guardian have a moment where she said that he wasn't there for her, and they have a heart-to-heart. But as soon as they had a heart-to-heart, that's when Void shows up and start just smudging everybody. So Yelena, they have their moment, because this causes a lot of chaos. I mean, you have people, it's in the middle of New York. They're right outside the Avengers Tower. So a lot of people are just panicking, running away. You have the Valentino's people shooting at him. The bullets aren't going nowhere, and he just smudged them. He smudged the helicopter. The helicopter smashed him. He smudged the pilot of a helicopter. He smudges the pilot of the helicopter. That helicopter flies into a crane. That crane flies into a building. Stuff starts falling over. So Yelena and Guardian starts to save people. Bucky shows up, starts saving people. The Ghost starts saving people. Captain Redneck comes up and starts saving people. And everybody's witnessing this, and they're like, oh my God, we got heroes. Heroes are back. Like the Avengers was never there. Like, there's been some time since the Avengers been there, or any hero anywhere. They acting like Spider-Man is not in the neighborhood. That's the only thing I can really, of course it's not Spider-Man movie, but sometimes it's in the middle of New York, so you gotta be like, come on now, where's Spider-Man? But that's neither here or there. But they started clapping for him, and this is what Yelena been feeling. This is what she thinks she's been. Well, this is what Red Guardian said. Like, back in the earlier in the movie, Yelena asked Red Guardian, when was the last time he was happy? And the last time he was happy was when he was in his country, fighting for his country, getting praises from families and loved ones and civilians, and they uplifted him. He said that's when he was truly last happy. Yelena feels this now. She feels what Red Guardian was talking about, because she never had it. She asked Valentino to do this, to be able to be front and center after this mission that Valentina sent her to her death, not knowing. And this causes what am I about to say? Whatever. This causes her to actually truly feel happy. But as soon as she starts feeling good about herself, a little girl gets smudged by a void, and it's like, holy crap. Oh, snap. The void starts to spread across all of New York. And so she steps into it. And when she gets into the void, she experiences her most traumatic nightmare, which was her first mission where she set up her best friend to be executed. And that she goes over that a couple times, but she fights through the wall. She fights through the wall into where she was in the what was the name of the academy she was in? The orphanage. Oh yeah, when she was she goes into one of her training moments in the red room where they had to put a gun together at a certain time, and the first person whoever do it was able to not get whipped in the hand. That was crazy. But she sees Bob through the mirror, and she's able to contact with him, and she goes into the room, and Bob tell her that this is just a void of rooms, of terrible rooms, and this room right here is the best one for him because this is the room where he used to hide. He could be in the attic where his mom was being abused by his dad, and it was sad. It was traumatic. It was really one of those moments where it was like, damn, that's messed up. And while she's in the void, Red Guardian, Captain Redneck, and while she's in the void, Red Guardian, Captain Redneck, Bucky, and Ghost are trying to figure out if she's dead or not, or should they go help. And they decide to go into the void to help her. And they all show up in the room when the room was going chaotic because Void was sensing that he was losing grip on Bob. They fight their way through a couple rooms, which was great cinematography and special effects. It reminded me when Spider-Man was fighting Mysterio and he was going through different types of illusions. Kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Or when in Multiverse of Madness, when Doctor Strange and I forgot what the girl name was, Star, was going through the dimensions. That was cool. It was cool. I like when they do stuff. I like when they do stuff like that. It makes it feel different from just a regular standard shoot 'em up action movie or whatever the case may be. So they get through, they get to the final room where Void is, and they have this moment where Void is telling him that he's nothing. He will never be anything. He always will be alone. But he's not alone. He has the Thunderbolts with him, and he has Yelena with him. He has Red Guardian, and they all saying that you can do this, and the Void pins them to the wall, but Yelena is able to get out of it and run there. He thought, he pins them to the wall, and Bob thinks he has to fight the Void. He has to like beat him up, but in reality, as the more he fights the Void, the more he becomes the Void. So Yelena has to get out of the pin, go down to get from unpinned with the help of Red Guardian, runs to him, goes through a whole bunch of debris because this time go through a whole bunch of obstacles, get to him, hug him, say, I'm here for you. And everybody else breaks their pin and come and do the same thing. So the power of friendship works. Power of friendship brings them back, and they come out of the void, and the void is no longer there. Bob is back in control. Okay. All right. Cool beans. And they sit there as they're rejoicing. They see Valentina. She's hiding. They see Valentina, and they's like, "Yo, we gonna go. She's dead. We gotta go get that hoe." So they run up on her, and she runs through this little curtain. But by the time they get through it, it's a whole press conference there, and she introduces them as the new Avengers. And now everything that she has done is pretty much swept under the rug. Everything she has done is pretty much swept under the rug because they couldn't prove anything because she was getting rid of the evidence anyway. It was just more he say, she say, and they were her evidence. But now that she has introduced them as the new Avengers, giving them fame and spotlight, giving them redemption, they feel more like, hey, we'll do this, but we also own you. We got you because we can always just out you. So it's kind of a push and pull thing. But Sentry is no more because without Void, he can't be Sentry. And it's kind of like, damn, we can have this strong OP character, but we know what will come if anything ever happens to him or if Void takes control again. So let's not. I think that's the mindset. Let's not, and let's just let him chill because he's part of the Avengers team. But you know, let's bring them there. And then we have a mid-credit scene of them being on of the Red Guardian shaved and looking like he's getting ready for Stranger Things season 5, and he's trying to talk this woman into getting the Wheaties box with them on it because he made a crack about how superheroes get on the Wheaties box, and now all their faces are on the Wheaties box. It was pretty funny. But the second post-credit scene, the end credit scene, shows 14 months later where Sam Wilson is telling them that they can't use the Avengers logo because he has a Avengers team. They're not the real Avengers, even though the government said they're the Avengers. And they have a space threat out in space coming to Earth. Come to find out, bum bum bum, it's the Fantastic Four rocket coming into Earth. Don't know how that really plays because the Fantastic Four movie is set in the 70s, I want to say. Let me look that up real quick just to verify. In the 60s. The Fantastic Four movie is set in the 60s. And and the Thunderbolts are based in, I want to say, in our timeline of 2025. It's set 14 months later, so I'm guessing 2026. And they all have different haircuts and stuff like that. It's funny. They do a couple of bits, but the big reveal was Fantastic Four is coming to town. Interesting. Like, so my guess now for Fantastic Four is they fight Galactus and they sit and they get sucked through like a time portal or something like that, and then this is them coming back or chasing something that's coming back into the Earth realm. Who knows? I want to say maybe it's Doctor Doom. It could be Doctor Doom. That has to be it because of all the cast. Because of all the casting and stuff that they did for Doomsday. I think that for the next Avengers movie, I think that's it. But man, that was pretty much. I left some things out purposely. I didn't tell every single thing that happened, but those was the highlights of Thunderbolts. I enjoyed the movie. I did. I thought it was gonna be like this huge, big blockbuster, shoot 'em up type thing. Don't get me wrong. They're shooting in it. They're shooting in this movie, but it wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be. Some good fight scenes, good choreography. I'll say that. It was stunning. It wasn't that many. It wasn't edited, chopped to hell, whatever. We had an overhead shot that was fire, and seeing them work together as a team was pretty cool. Or the first time them clashing was cool as well. I'm gonna give Thunderbolts a A. It was standard. It was cool. It was fun. I laughed, but it didn't blow my mind. And it didn't have me saying, "Oh my God, I have to see this again." This stuck with me. I didn't do all that, but it was a cool movie in the Marvel phase that sets up something bigger and better. So we're gonna see. But have y'all seen it? Do you plan on seeing it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this out with your friends. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Appreciate y'all for sticking with me for this long. Hey, take care of yourselves and be easy.